Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela WebDev. In this video, we will learn about the data model mutability in the Angular forms. So we'll try to see how the data will be modified in the component level, both in the reactive forms and also in the template driven forms. We'll try to see the both approach. So let's break down the key concepts of data model mutability and change tracking in the Angular forms by comparing reactive and template driven approaches. So what we are taking is we will be working through the example of a favorite color input field, which we are trying to do in our couple of previous videos. So the same example we'll try to take it and we'll see each form type handles, how the each form type handles changes and implications for data model mutability and efficiency. So let's try to observe one by one. So the first one which we'll try to see is the reactive forms, how the data model data will be updated, how the data model will be updated in the reactive forms. So reactive forms, as you already know, it will contains a form control instance, right? So let's try to see it. Reactive forms in Angular keep the data model immutable. So here the mutability, it is an immutable. What is this immutable? The data model means nothing but you consider it as a form control. So the form, that instance of the form control, the data how it is maintained. So what is this immutable? Meaning that instead of modifying the existing data model directly, so that means that data model will instead of modifying the existing data model, a new version of the data model is created each time when there is a change. So that means in the reactive forms, whenever an input value or something like that change, so you will be having the form control instance, right? So every time for every change, a new instance of the form control will be created. In result, you will be getting a new data model all the time with that only single change. This lets Angular more efficiently detect and respond to the changes. So how it works here, each changes generates a new form control instance value. So that means whenever you try to change the input value, every time a new form control instance will be created. That means a new object instance will be created for every change, allowing us to track these unique changes. So that means whenever this form control instance value changes, you will be able to get only those unique changes only and integrate seamlessly with Angular's change detection. So advantages, what is the advantage of using this type of approach is it is easier to manage change tracking and integrates well with the observable operators. So that means all the time, so we can it integrates well with the observable. So the main reactive forms always it will track with the observables, right? So it will take care of this observable. So let's try to see how it will be changed. So now the example which we are having right now is the template driven forms. It is reactive forms, right? Let's try to take the reactive form component.ts file and also reactive form component.html file. So now in the reactive form component.html file, if you are able to see this one, so form control creation, first of all, we create a form control for favorite control. This is a favorite color control. We have created a new form control instance. Initially, we have made it as an empty. The value is empty. Now, let's try to see the immutable change tracking, how it will happen. Whenever a change occurs, so whenever this form control color control will, here in this one, whenever a change occurs, so the value change is observable, emits a new value. So here it will be invoked by the value changes. It will invoke a new value. This makes the change detection efficient as Angular only needs to respond to a new values instead of repeatedly checking the old ones. So whenever the value changes means only that for that value only it will invoke this value changes, so that all the time it will check for only the modified ones. It will not check the respective old ones. So each time you update the input, favorite color control value changes emits a new value, making the component track and respond to the unique changes. So that is the main thing of this one. So now if you try to see the output for this, so if you go here and here in our not the template form, let's go to the app.component.html. Yeah, here in this reactive form, I will try to open this reactive form also. So in this reactive form, if you try to observe at the top, so whenever you try to update the value, so here each time the value changes, the data model, the form control instance, each time it will be invoked, it will be created, and the value change is observable. It will send you the each time a new value. So this is one thing. Now let's try to observe about that what is that one, template driven forms mutable data model. So how the data model will be updated in the template driven forms. So if you try to observe here, in contrast, template driven forms use a mutable data model. So this one means it's a mutable data model, means the existing data, the existing object which you will be having, it is a mutable. that directly binds to the component property. So this one will be directly bind to the component properties. So Angular's two-way data binding ng model updates the data model immediately as changes occur in the template. So who will update this existing mutable data model is ng model. So whenever the two-way data, whenever the data model immediately, whenever the template got updated means, so the data model updated immediately as changes occur in the template. How it works? So now the input field updates the bound component property directly. So the input field updates the bound component property directly using the ng model, making the data model mutable. So what is the implication of this one? Change detection is less efficient. Why? Because so the data, the template the Angular needs to detect, right, whatever the property the template has been changed. So change detection is less efficient because Angular has to check for changes every time data binding triggers an update. So whenever the data binding triggers an update means Angular has to check for the changes every time, as there is no observable to track the unique changes. In reactive forms there is an observable, so that's why it will able to track the unique changes, whereas here means always the change detection strategy will be happening. So if you try to see our code in this one, the code which we have did it, so let's try to open the template driven form. So here the template form component.ts file, template form component.html file. So now if you try to see here in our template form component.ts file, so the two-way data binding, the ng model binding directly updates the favorite color property. Here we are having a favorite color property, and here we have updated it to the ng model. Automatically directly the favorite color property will be updated with the ng model. So tracking the favorite color value is modified. So here the favorite color value is modified directly, making change detection less efficient because Angular must track and compare the favorite color property with every change. So that means whatever the value it got updated means always it has to check for this favorite color also, whether it has updated or not. So without any observable, so here so without any observable to monitor the distinct changes. So that's the thing. So it doesn't able. So any property in this template got updated means it will check for the favorite color also, whether this is the value it has been updated or not. Whereas in the observable, so it can able to distinguish. So whatever the what the value has exactly has updated. So that is the thing. So in the final result, what I want to tell you is when the input value is updated, the favorite color property is modified directly, making Angular reevaluate the property on each data binding cycle. So that is the thing. So in summary, what I want to tell you is, so data model here in the reactive form, it is immutable. So the new data is created on every change. Whereas in the template driven form, it's a mutable. Existing data model will be modified directly. And the change detection strategy in the reactive form, it is very efficient. It tracks only new values via observable, whereas it is less efficient, checks the property on each cycle. In each cycle, it will always try to check the property. And use case suitability is best for complex. For this one, reactive forms are best for complex or large scale apps, and this one is template driven forms are suitable for simpler forms and less complex change tracking needs. So this approach ensures you know when to choose between reactive and template driven forms based on your application efficiency need, especially when dealing with the change detection in Angular 18 standalone components. So hope you understood about the data mutability in both reactive forms and also template driven forms. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.